Hello there. I welcome you to another update for the Guns 2. Now we have a few new things in the game. I'm just gonna show you the first new things. Two new levels. We have a level which is called Asteroid Field. There we go. That's the one. Come on. Now, two new levels, okay, so this is one of them. Now, for those of you who played Guns 1, this might actually become very familiar because it looks like the codename Fandango, at least I think it was called like that. There was also an Asteroid Field in there, but apart from this one, I think that level in the first game probably looked a little bit better, and there are a few reasons for that. First of all, you can actually see that the resolution in the Guns 2 is probably higher, but the problem is that it still seems, compared to Guns 1, like it's zoomed in. So basically, you know, in Guns 1, it was like you had this very small ship and a very huge asteroid field, pretty much filled with all kinds of hazard. But in this second sequel, it seems like your ship is actually huge, and so are the asteroids. So basically, you don't really have a field. It's like, you know, you always can see like 3 boulders at the same screen, I think, or something like that. So it's not really that much. And in the first game, it looked much more like you're actually on the asteroid field than it looks like in the sequel. So I'm kind of disappointed here. I think what the developers should have done is maybe just take the camera a little bit more back and give us maybe more asteroids, and maybe they wouldn't have to be so endurant. I mean, seriously, it takes a lot of firepower to actually break those things. Okay, so this is basically the new level. I like the ships. There are new ships. When you destroy them, they explode in a very, very interesting fashion, and they always give you a bullet time, which is pretty nice. The problem is that there is a point in this level where you have to destroy like 4 of those ships, and each one of them actually explodes like that, meaning that you're gonna get like 4 explosions in a tandem, and well, it doesn't look as cool. I mean, it's kind of cool, but it kind of draws the attention, and it really wouldn't have to be there. Also, if you actually look closely to those boulders or asteroids or whatever you want to call them, you can actually see that they emit some kind of a glow. Now, I suspect that developers figured out that if they do not emit the glow, they can be easily, swapped for the boulders in the background, which means that players will just assume that they cannot hurt him, but eventually, you know, he would find out the harsh truth. They can, and they will. So they try to outline them, which is cool, kind of, but it totally ruins the experience. I mean, come on, just give me many smaller asteroids, that would be fine, or at least just make them less endurant. Also, I think the chain lighting actually works on them, but still, well, it's not what I expected. The level's not bad though, it's kind of good actually, but it needs a little bit more TLC, that's all I'm saying. Also, you can see this sign we've seen in the last update. So there's a boss coming under construction currently. What is quite unfortunate is that we still have to see the boss in the insectoid colony level. That's the last one I actually showed you back then. There was the same sign, so the boss is coming, but even in this update it's still not there, so there you go. Now the second new level is a quantum research base. That's actually much more interesting, in my opinion. Now in this level, if you look closely at the planet on the right upper corner, it's the moon probably or something like that, it will soon disappear, and instead of it will appear some kind of a black hole or something like that. Just hold on. Once the black hole's there, the whole level actually goes down. It's like, well, actually no, let me just rephrase myself. It goes up, actually, yeah, that's right. See, there's probably some kind of a quantum project going on in here, and you probably destroy that in the middle of, I don't know, some experimental state. What happens is that it blows the fucking moon up, and everything becomes dark. It should become dark very soon, like right now, I guess. Come on. Give me some darkness. Ouch. There you go. The planet's gone. You can actually see the small dwarf appearing in there instead of it. And what's gonna happen now is that it will tear the whole level apart. It will just go bigger and bigger, and the level will just be teared apart alongside with all those turrets, enemies, everything was just gonna be sucked in, which is a great idea for a level. Honestly, this one takes the cake, you know. This is a great idea for a level. And the problem is that no matter how much it pulls everything away, it does absolutely nothing to your ship. It doesn't even hamper your controls or anything. It doesn't really suck the bullets if you're using bullet-like, you know, weapons, but it just does nothing to you. And it just grows bigger, it's staring. I mean, look at this shit. You got stones everywhere, basically. And these have to weigh like megatons of pounds. I mean, come on. How the fuck does it do nothing to my ship? Yeah, so guys, remember the game from Team 17? It was quite an old game. It was called Piranha, I think. You were controlling those ships in there and shooting asteroids everywhere. You could actually pass the level on one side and exit on the other. Well, that game had 100 levels, and I'm pretty sure that like half of them featured some kind of a gravity hole in the middle, which was actually pulling your ship. Yeah, that's right. I mean, it didn't pull the ammunition, but it pulled the ship. And it's a long time since that game was released, so I'm guessing that they could probably do something in here too. I mean, it doesn't have to pull you inside that, whatever it is, black hole or something. No, all it has to do is just give you some turbulences at least, or something like that. I mean, it can't be that hard to program. I mean, come on. As for the bullets, it would be really nice effect if those bullets were actually like, you know, going around the center of gravity. That would be great. I know it would be a pain in the ass to program, but it would really give the level special feeling. And that's pretty much it. Also, if you noticed, I'm not really meeting many enemies in the end of the level. It's just empty. You know, I mean, what? Why don't you just bring everything in the end of the level? I mean, I get that you get those ships that didn't make to start, you know, just flying around, so they're basically pilotless, and that means that you probably just battle what's left. But I'd like to see more enemies in the end of the level. That would probably give it a little bit more personal feeling too. Okay, so that's for the new levels in the game. Now we got some new stuff in there. You can actually see some of it right here. You can see the new missiles, Comet. You can see it right here in the test range. It's launching a lot of small rockets from the back of my ship, and they just fly in a fountain-like pattern around my ship, hitting anything that's in the front of my ship. That's a lot of rain. Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, who am I to say it's not? Let's see if there's any more missiles in here. No, that's pretty much all from the bombs and missiles group. We also don't have any new device in here. What we do have are some new equipment. So let's see. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna tell you something I found in the last update. I kind of said some lies to you because I haven't really tried it on. But in the last update I was talking about the panic attack, that it rewards the risky playing players, and the other Panzer, I said it's something like the whole integrity upgrade, but I was so wrong about this. I mean, this thing would be actually amazing. What it does is that it completely replaces your hit points with just 10 hit points. That's your basic whole integrity at least. So if you have 100 base whole integrity, it just gives you 10 hit points. Now every damage you take, doesn't matter from what source, will give you -1 hit point, and every whole integrity, you know, thing is going to give you +1 hit point, which is kind of a drawback, I guess. But the thing about this is, when I was thinking about it, you know, I mean, I was just looking at this tooltip and I was thinking, why would I play this? I mean, maybe on the higher difficulties, this actually might be useful, because, you know, things will probably have you like 2-shot. But then I scrolled over the panic attack, and this tooltip there, it says increases power of the ship when HP gets below 30. Think about it, because this thing, if you equip it, will always reduce your hit points below 30. I mean, even if you have a whole integrity upgrade which increases your whole integrity to 200%, which is 200 hit points, and you equip the Zelda Panzer with it, you're gonna get 20 hit points, which is still lower than the threshold needed to trigger the panic attack, which is 30. Right? Right. Well, wrong actually, and that's right. I'm gonna show you why this thing doesn't work. Actually, since the last update, it doesn't work in the training area. I'm just gonna blow my shield off so you can see I still have 100 hit points, which is kind of weird, but I think if I go on a mission, it's gonna turn into 10 hit points. Let's try it out. Let's see. Nope, it's still there, so it's probably broken, but what I wanted to show you is that it doesn't matter if your hit points are below 30 or not. I think they just probably have some kind of a mistake in the tooltip for the panic attack, because it should be 30%. You know, I mean, the game actually applies the effect when your hit points are below 30% of your maximum hit points, which means if you have the Zelda Panzer and nothing with it, you need to go on 3 hit points. Totally useless. But you know what? I think maybe there is a slight chance that developers will actually, you know, like see this and they'll be thinking, it's actually not a bad idea. You know, I mean, why wouldn't we reward players playing with the Zelda Panzer with the ability to actually have the panic attack all the way on? You know, I mean, just think about it. It's a perfect suffix. You know, I mean, those two things, they complete themselves. It would be really great to actually see this thing through to the end. But currently the Zelda Panzer is broken completely, so I can't even show you, but like, never mind. So anyway, they tweaked some hit points for the enemies in this update. Actually, I'm playing on difficulty 3, Nightmare, and it's already really a nightmare. I mean, where are those times when I was on difficulty 11 and I could still play the game? It's just gone, you know. Anyway, that's pretty much the biggest change in here. I think they kind of tweaked the Magnavolt. It's nowhere near as powerful with the blast projector as it were before. So yeah, that's kind of disappointing. What they did increase is the hexagon's damage. You can actually see the hexagon has a base DPS of 1100, and if you actually upgrade this son of a bitch, you can actually see that it has DPS of 2240. Now, I think the base damage of this weapon back then was like 400, I think, and now you got this. It's kind of insane, but well, that's what you would think, but actually this gun sucks. I mean, I had 3 of them equipped, almost maxed out, it did almost nothing, so I mean, it did maybe a little bit more damage than those Magnavolts, but no. And with the blast projector, it seems like the blast projector completely ignores your like main weapon you actually have in there. I mean, it's like it only teleports the clones to your drones, but it doesn't actually shoot itself, which is still probably better than just having one gun in the front, but no, it just doesn't seem like good, like it's so powerful anymore. It just seems that the blast projector has been tweaked too, so that's a bummer. Anyway, there's a new device called the Harmonic Amplifier. What it does is that if your shield is maxed out, you actually gain increased amount of damage. You can see it's on by seeing this blue emitting light from the middle of your ship. See? Now, it's good, but the problem is that the tooltip doesn't say how much it actually amplifies your damage. Now, those of you who played Borderlands 2 Maya character may actually remember the shield was called the B. It had the very same effect. If your shield was up, your damage went completely crazy. Now, this would be the same thing instead. I mean, except we don't really know how much damage boost we actually get from this thing. On the other hand, on the panic attack, we can see it's 50% if we are below 30% hit points. Now, the interesting thing about this is that those two things actually stuck. So if I actually just, you know, get my hit points below 30, you can see that I have this orange glow emitting thing, which is the panic attack. And if I wait for my shields to charge up, you can actually have both effects at once, and that gives you some extra damage, which can be really useful. Also, all of this combined together with, you can actually see that I'm kind of getting through these things and they have quite a lot of hit points. This combined with the Hellfire generator, which also converts your heat to power boost, you get 30% more power, obviously, and you don't have to worry about heating because you have cooling fan, which completely dissipates any extra heat. I mean, you can basically dissipate the heat so you can shoot again between your shots with the Magnavolt. So, you know, if you have this thing up, you can just go for the Hellfire generator and never let go of that fire button, and it just works wonders. Okay, now let's see what else is new. Now we got Dynamo. Yeah, that's a new thing in here. It's not a device, it's a gem, but what it does, and I have 3 of them equipped at this point, is that every enemy that dies actually releases another lightning bolt that strikes the nearest enemy for 50% of total DPS. So if your DPS is really high, then this damage is also really high, and all you have to do is just ensure that the enemy dies from actually this weapon, so that's why I have 3 of them. I mean, I could probably use the gem connector and maybe the blast projector to ensure that every enemy I kill will get this effect, but as I said, it's not as powerful as it used to be, so there goes that idea. But other than that, it's kind of cool idea. I think it will be really good to use. Let's see what else is new. So devices. So we got the Shell Grenadier. Now you get this thing quite late in the game, which is the only drawback it has, because if you actually got it sooner, this would be a great thing. What this thing does, let me just equip it. Hold on. I can actually upgrade this son of a bitch. You can see what it does because I don't have any, firepower that actually fires bullets. Right, it's not there. I'm sorry for that. Well, basically, the higher fire rate you have, more bullets will just come out of your ship and they're actually going to explode as they fall down. So that's kind of cool thing. As I said, the problem is that it only does a limited amount of DPS, which is like 10% of total DPS, I think, when it's maxed out. And it's per bullet, so it's kind of cool, but you get this quite late in the game. I think maybe hard, maybe second part of hard, so it's like completely useless at that point. There goes that. Now the last thing you get after you finish the hard difficulty is supercharged load. I haven't tried this weapon yet. I mean, I see what it does, but it just doesn't really work as well as I would hope. Now you got a probability 40%. Actually, you can tune it out all the way to 100%. That it's going to do some percent of total DPS as a light thing, charge on the impact. I'm not entirely sure if we max this thing out, it's still 10%, which is nothing, I mean, I get that they try to get creative with this, but honestly, I can even see the lighting effect when I drop the bomb. No, it just doesn't work, I think. I mean, maybe it's broken, maybe it's not, I don't really care. I mean, 10% DPS is nothing, so there goes that. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Now there are a few more weapons, new weapons in here. Maybe you noticed this. Yeah, in the previous update I told you about the guns that had weird tooltip instead, like Sidearm and Toxican, I think. And these 2 weapons, Sidearm and Toxican, actually are official in this update. Just as, I'm sorry, I'm just going back. But we also, I also stumbled upon this weird tooltip named weapon Shogun. I actually have one of them right here, and if you look closely what it does, it just shoots shit, from your ship. You can actually see those pieces of shit. It does shit damage, obviously, it's a shit weapon, but, shit gun, I'm sorry, it's a shit gun, but I guess it's gonna get official in the upcoming patch or update, whatever. But what were you thinking with this one? Anyway, I'm gonna show you the Toxican and the Sidearm. It pretty much does the same thing as I described before. Let's see. I'm just gonna exit the campaign. I'm gonna tell you why in a moment. Let's see. I got this one. There you go. Now, I got Vulcan and Toxican Cannon. Now, if I just equip the Toxican, you can actually see that it fires some green shit and it hits on the other side of the screen. Just as the Vulcan, it's basically the same gun. I mean, seriously, it's the same fucking gun. Except Vulcan is orange and the Toxican is green. Now, keep in mind that this is difficulty normal, so obviously I'm doing a lot of damage here, but you know. Also, you can see I am having a new weapon, JC Superstar. It's from Jizengans 1 in the back of my ship. Let's try this bitch on a maximum level. Okay, so this is what it does. Again, it does ship damage, I think. It's very useless right now, but maybe they'll just tune it up. I mean, who knows? Maybe if all of my drones had this, it's probably not gonna work that well. So yeah. That's it. Now we got another thing, Zombie Blues, again from Jizengans 1. Now what this thing does is it just shoots those zombies and they just go hit your nearest enemy. It does quite a lot of that damage, but the fire rate is so slow. I mean, just really not a good thing, I guess. The damage of this thing is actually 385. So there you go. Now I got a sidearm. I'll just show the sidearm, hold on. The sidearm does this. Yeah, it's not exactly the strongest weapon in the game. Maybe having 3 of them in the beginning of the game would help, but I don't really think that it's what this weapon is supposed to do. Maybe a little bit more damage would be nice. I mean, seriously, this right now is pretty much useless. So okay, that's pretty much it. That's it for the weapons. Now, why I had to lock to another character in order to show you the rest of the weapons. That's actually a good reason for that. They did something to the shop. Okay, I'm not entirely sure why they couldn't just have every weapon in there once and just allow you to buy it multiple times. I mean, what they did instead is that now they're offering you every weapon a few times, up to 3, I think. And when you buy it, it just goes away from the shop, So every new weapon you probably get like 1 piece at first, but after you complete a mission, you get like another 2 pieces in the shop, so you can have all 3 of them. I think they were thinking that it'll be too powerful if you had 3 of them at once. Touche, I mean, but still, I mean, you're gonna equip 3 of them in the next mission, so what's actually, the benefit here? I mean, I don't see why are they doing this. It just doesn't make really much of a sense. Instead, what you get is just overcrowded shop with weapons you don't really give a fuck about. And I think they realized this because if I look back my main character for this update, let's see the change player, that's the ass fucker, yeah, that's the one. Now, you can actually see that the shop is completely missing most of the, low-end weapon. I mean, seriously, every bullet weapon is gone. I only have the Electro Bolt, Hexagon, Magnavolt, this bug thing, and the rammer. I mean, where are all the weapons? I mean, I've finished the game. Well, they're just nowhere. They're gone. I mean, you only get access to the weapons that have a high DPS. And everything else is just gone, So you can't even like buy back those weapons that you used to have and you used to use. I mean, it's kind of crazy, So yeah, in conclusion, what I'm missing is more music. Definitely, I'd like to see hear some more mechanized supremacy. What I'm also missing is a little bit more TLC with the levels. I mean, the last really good level was the Gigantaria, I think. Since then, it just seems a little bit too plain. Not much of a design in there. I mean, there might be some puzzles or something in the game that would actually keep it interesting. I mean, from the Insectoid Colony level, the design of the level may not be actually bad, but I really can't remember anything from it. I mean, maybe the boss is gonna be fine, but the level as it is, it just seems like a little bit of a drag, and I don't know, maybe it just needs something, that you would remember from the level. That's probably what it needs. Yeah, the Quantum Research Base, I mean, it looks like the level from the Jizengans 1, just before the submarine level at first, but then it goes dark and it looks like, I don't know what it looks like, but the level could definitely use more TLC, more cannons, more machinery, more enemies, more everything, and the gravity effects, of course, that I mentioned before. Yeah, and the asteroid field, well, I said small asteroid, smaller ship, maybe bigger level, you know, less endurance asteroids. I mean, that level could have been much more fun, but instead it's not much of a fun. Okay, so that's pretty much all for this update. I'll stay tuned for the next one. I have to say this one was a little bit disappointing. I mean, 2 new levels, some new ships, a lot of new devices, but the synergies, well, just kind of don't work. I mean, it's really a shame that this Zelda Panzer, I'm sorry, doesn't really do what it says it does. But overall, kind of good work, I guess. I just hope that you're still gonna give those missions some TLC, because they really need it. I mean, the first levels that were released with this game, that's the Star City 17, kind of good. Pirate Base, great. You know, the Moon Colony is super great. Water World, exemplary. You know, and then just you got this ballast. I mean, Skyway Alpha just recycles the assets from the Star City 17. Yeah, I get why, but still, you know, it could have been a separate level. The X-Men's Mayhem, I mean, come on. You got the Asteroid Field, which is kind of empty. I mean, crowded asteroids, but, you know, they're kind of hard to destroy, so it's like just pieces that you're trying to avoid. Giganteria, kind of cool, you know. I mean, the boss could have been a little bit cooler, but it's cool. Quantum Base, I said, practically empty. The Insectoid, nothing memorable in there, so yeah, it's kind of a drag. Anyway, see you guys in the next update. I hope you enjoyed it, and I do hope the game will get a little bit better next time. Maybe we'll see some bosses from the Insectoid colony and the Asteroid Field. And I'm definitely going to do a video about that, so see you all soon.